Agenda-setting financial insight now with our commentary arm, Reuters Breakingviews. And today's top picks: European leaders throw sandbags on the levy, but will they be enough to stem the flood? And why Barclays' Bob Diamond foregoing his bonus is just a drop in the ocean. Well, with me now to discuss these stories is Reuters Breakingviews' Robert Cole. Robert, thanks very much indeed for joining us once again. Let's start with the Euro sovereign bond plan may just work. Now, I know you're going to take the contrary view because that's what you have to do, but hints of optimism?
Yeah, and I think we've got quite big grounds to be optimistic here. I think the tone of most of this week's forecasts is that it'd be yet another meeting at which nothing would be decided. We've got three really quite significant moves here involving the access to bailout funds, the fact that funds can be directed to banks rather than via sovereigns, which will help, and on a more technical level, the seniority of different the sovereign buyers or the state buyers vis-a-vis the private sector buyers, and they're three really very big steps forward. So tick, tick, tick there. And
then you've got seniority versus conditionality. Fly in the ointment?
So probably more like a monkey in the ointment, really. Bigger than a fly. Yes, conditionality it sounds like such a harmless sort of word, doesn't it, really? It sounds like, just a few details to be, a few terms and conditions in the small print. But as everyone knows, there's a lot of detail in the small print. So headline's very good, big doubt over this conditionality, but even in this conditionality I don't think one should be too gloomy about it, because while the markets might want one enormous free lunch and might reflate and so on with an enormous package of monetary policies, I think the Germans, and hopefully that the consensus opinion here is that we really have to fix this system, and if you allow debt relief on a massive scale, which you could do, it's only going to make it worse next time. Yeah, I mean, Angela Merkel has her own home constituency to think about as well, so there's some politics here too. But I think.
But are they poles apart? I mean, that's the way it's being portrayed in the media, and I guess ourselves as well. We must put our hands up for that. But are they so far apart, or is it actually quite a rapprochement in terms of they do know that they've got to solve this? Merkel, as you say, has to justify things back home. She's got to do that today. Has she moved that far?
The way I'd like to see it is that the thing that's different and the thing that's optimistic about this summit is that there's meat on the table. They are actually scrapping over real issues. They're disagreeing, and those disagreements are real, and the disagreements are, if you like, hidden in this rather well-phrased kind of communique. But what makes it different from previous 20 summits or whatever it is that in those previous ones they kind of danced around their handbags and tried to agree on some sort of secondary issues. What we're seeing here is real progress towards some solutions, and agreeing what the areas of disagreement are is a very, very valuable first step.
Okay, let's move on to Bob Diamond then. You're saying that he can easily afford his bonus sacrifice. Now, I just want to play a soundbite here. Mr. Diamond is not exactly one to fall on his sword.
There was a period of remorse and apology for banks. I think that period needs to be over. We need our banks willing to take risk, confident, working with the private sector in the UK, so that we can create jobs and we can improve the economic growth, and that's very important for the United Kingdom.
So that's the view on what Mr. Diamond feels about the way forward for banks. His bonus sacrifice, drop in the ocean, isn't it?
Well, actually, I wouldn't disagree with much of what Bob Diamond said there. I think that's broadly in line. The question is about who should be leading that attempt, and who should be responsible for structuring banks in a way which means that those kind of goals are met. I mean, the piece we were saying today, we said yesterday that we thought it was probably time for him to consider his position, or rather the board to consider his position. And I'm afraid we just had a look at his the giveaway or the What he has given back here is his bonus, and everyone thinks, given that Bob Diamond bonuses seem to be benchmarked in a league of all of their own, that this is an enormous amount of money, and it's not small change. But it's what he's given up is his annual bonus. In addition to that, of course, he gets some longer-term bonuses and pension contributions, and of course, he gets a salary as well. Goodness me, gosh, I don't know how he manages to get by, but. In total, what he's going to give up might be about half of his package. It might be £3.5 million, which is a lot of money.
Not to be sneezed at, but in the grand scheme of things.
I'm just wondering whether this is more a sop than a sacrifice. That's all we're saying.
And whether possibly not giving enough might cost him greater in the long term.
That's true. Although his stance is one with his heels very firmly in the turf. These things can change quickly, though, so I'm not sure we've seen the last of this story.
I'm sure we haven't. OK, thank you very much indeed for that. That is all for now. My thanks to Robert Cole. For more agenda-setting financial insight, watch our US Breaking Views show every day at 12:30 Eastern, 17:30 BST. I'm Nigel Stevenson. This is Reuters.